Welcome again to my channel. My name is Afolake, and if you're new here, you're welcome. Thank you for all my new subscribers. In fact, I can't thank you guys enough. You've actually helped this channel to grow, and for as many that also shared this video, you know, all the videos that we channeled here, it takes effort, it takes a lot of time, but we appreciate you. In fact, thank you for sharing the videos that I post in here, because it will benefit you, it will benefit those that you're sharing with. So that's a good job on you. Thank you so much. And if you are a new subscriber, I see you, I welcome you. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope that you will continue to stick around and enjoy the valuable content that we share here. We share tips that help new immigrants settle in a new land. And if you don't know yet, if you've not actually had time to go through my channel, I have an ebook that helps to settle new immigrants. Because I film from Saskatoon, here in Saskatchewan, I have a tailor-made ebook that serves the Saskatchewan or Saskatoon residents. So if you're coming this way, you'll find this ebook very, very useful. I'm going to flash it up here. Okay, here. Anyway, wherever it flashes. So I'm going to put it on the screen so that you can see, and then the link will be in the description box for you to buy. It gives you all that you need to know of how to settle from your day one. In fact, even pre-landing, because we know that you're deciding to come this way, you're looking at how to, you know, step in and be able to land easily. My book actually helps you to be able to navigate settlement easily to everything you need to know without missing any step. Links, phone numbers, addresses, in fact, everything is there for you and tailor-made for you. And if you're outside Saskatchewan, there's always something to pick up from there, because some things are provincial wide, and it helps you to be able to navigate all these things. Addresses might be different because you don't live here, but some links actually work Canada-wide. So it's also a way for you to be able to find settlement easy. So please just connect. If you're looking for support, especially when you want to land here in Saskatoon and you need somebody to pick you up at the airport, you need someone to help you with accommodation, which is really a real big task for you to be able to find a place to stay here in Canada. I'm not even talking about Saskatoon. In fact, finding accommodation is another story for another day. And if you also need to be able to kit up your home, especially when you land, you need to be able to come into a mini prepared home like an Airbnb. Trust me, when you rent, even though we have washing machine and cooker and maybe dishwasher in some homes, that's virtually all that you will find here. So don't think that you will find a house that is ready made for you. It's not Airbnb. But I come in to be able to help make this easy for you. At least take that first phase of you scouting around for all those preliminary things, but help you focus on more important things like settling, you know, registering your SIN, going to open a bank account, getting a counselor from the newcomer center, finding school for your children, registering your health card. You know, now start consciously searching for a job. You know, when you have accommodation sorted and you have your house kitted, those are the things that you'll be chasing after, not, you know, the earlier things I just mentioned. So these are things that I can help with. If you're needing that help, reach out to me. I'm going to put the link in the description box and we can connect. So let's talk about today's video. If you have not seen my video, in fact, last week is actually the video I posted last week, and I posted the part 2 of my immigrant stories. I interviewed 3 immigrants, a couple and another gentleman, that talked about their experience moving to Canada. If you have not watched it, please go and watch it. I'm going to link it here too, and also put the link in the description box. So watch part 1, watch part 2. It's exciting, it's interesting, and it's something that you can learn 1 or 2 things, because you have to understand what the reality and what the expectation is. But what I really want to talk about here today is to make sure that as you think of landing or coming to Canada, in fact, immigrants, just like one of the guests that I had on that immigrant story mentioned, he had to reset his reality. So don't think Canada is a bed of roses. In fact, reverse back and reset, because it is not. So the reality for you, you must come with an open mind. The expectation that you have of Canada should not be over the roof, so that when you come here, you are not in shock or in shock. How do they say? In shock. Because you actually expected something much more. So I want to warn new immigrants, when you land here in Canada, you guys need to be careful, especially with resources. You need to plan. And don't follow the bandwagon. Don't feel because I have landed here, everybody is doing this, I must do this. You need to understand that some things don't work for everybody at the same time. You need to understand how things work for you, and then your own experience, where you are currently, and your aspirations. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about buying a house here in Canada. When you come in as a new immigrant, you have to set priorities, you have to set targets and aspirations for yourself. When you're looking for a job, you have to have a current plan, a mid plan, and a long-term plan, or goals as they call it, and even for things generally. So if you come in here and you throw your goals off the window and you decide to follow other people's goals, so you begin to move by other people's calendar, as they say it, then you're missing the point. Because somebody is doing something does not mean you have to do it. Because somebody is buying a house right now does not mean you must buy a house. See, you need to drop that mentality of how or whatever you have from your home country. And I'm speaking to some particular set of people that represents me. I don't know how they represent in other countries, but I see a lot of what will people say, or I've not done it because some people have done it, or I don't want to be left alone. Excuse me. Who are you impressing? Who are you trying to impress? I said this a lot. I said, look, have you seen somebody that slept under the bridge? Or have you seen somebody that slept under the cold? Everybody has an accommodation over his head, whether rented or the one you actually bought. So we need to be careful. Don't let pressure drive you. That's the bottom line where I'm going to. Don't be driven by the pressure of people. We talk about pressure for our children. Adults too face these things, but you need to be able to stand your ground. That's the truth. We talk about community as well, and building good network and community is supposed to help you make a good decision for your household, not to drive you into the direction where everybody is going. Because it might be good for A, it might not be good for you. So you need to understand how it works for you. Don't be driven by people's aspiration. Don't be driven by people's journey, for instance. Be driven by your own goals. Let whatever you have planned for and committed even into God's hands, let it drive you. So if somebody that lands in year 1 buys a house, and because you've been here for maybe 2 years or 3 years and you're feeling like, I'm not doing up to what I'm supposed to be doing, or or you feel unaccomplished because you've not bought the house, or you feel that you're not measuring to the standard of people that will talk. Who are the people that are talking? What is their business? And if you know me so well, in fact, you know that I don't work without calendar, or my family don't. And I always encourage people that, look, what is yours never pass you by. Though it tarries, wait for it. Don't run ahead of your goals. Don't run ahead of God's plan for you. Now, if you buy that house, tell me, what next? Then there's still something else for you to run after. Bottom line is, we will all get what we desire. So immigrants, please, you need to listen up. There might be a craze for people chasing you for some things, or chasing you to do this, to do that, which will take resources off you. You must learn to say no. Learn to say no. You don't have to take everything. Yes, it might be a good plan. It might be really perfect. But is it the right time for you? Ask yourself. Is it the right time for you? Ask yourself, especially when you're settling. You could be buying insurance. It's good. But is it the right time? You could be buying a house. Is it the right time? It's good. But is it the right time? It could even be buying a car. Sometimes you come in as an immigrant. It's good for mobility. Yes, you drove 2 cars back in your home country. But right now, is it good for you? Is it what is needed for you right now? Check your resources. Check if you probably get a work from home job. If you probably don't really move around a lot, you don't need it. You will get it someday. It will be useful for you, definitely. Can you use the bus in the interim to save costs, at least for the next few months? Ask these questions. Don't jump on these things. Don't forget that when you begin to commit resources to all these things, there's either a monthly deduction that goes into it, whether you're doing insurance, you're buying a car, you're buying a house, and so many other things, really. There are monthly deductions. Can you afford it? And even with a car, for instance, you're paying, if you probably lease, you're paying your monthly lease, you're paying insurance, you're paying gas into your car. So many things goes on. So begin to ask questions. You can use the bus in the interim. The bus system is okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Better than your country, maybe. So understand what works for you. If your house seems very close to your children's school and they can walk, by all means let them walk. Must you drop them? Please let them walk. You need to understand so many things that will help you save costs. You need to be at that spot to save costs until you begin to have a constant income that you can bank on for your future needs. You know, sometimes some people come to you and they say, don't worry, when you get the job, everything will kneel out. Get the job first. Get the job first. At least the basic needs that should take money away from you should be your rent, your bills that you have to pay, which is status quo. Whether your electricity, your heating, your phone bills, Wi-Fi, you know, those are basic bills. Then you can do whether a bus if you must. If you can afford a car, please by all means do. But I'm just trying to make you understand that, look, you can cut costs and live on a barest minimum while you settle down. Settling is key, guys. Settling down is key. And as things begin to skyrocket, I shared a video recently too that I talked about how much I bought some groceries, guys. Things are beginning to get expensive. Rent is becoming more and more difficult for immigrants. In fact, the rate at which you honestly is crazy. You have to have your proof of funds. It's literally your proof of funds, because they want to see your bank account showing that at least you have a minimum of 12 months of that rent in your account. You know, that goes to show that you can pay that rent if you don't find a job, because there are no guarantees. I say that a lot. There are no guarantees. And while you also plan to get a job and then begin to at least stay off that proof of funds and begin to use your Canadian dollars to pay your Canadian expenses, you can't but rely on whatever you have brought from your home country. And if your exchange rate has killed that money already, tell me, does it make sense? Does it make sense? As much as possible, you need to live on a very low budget as immigrants. You need to live on a low budget so that you will not be incurring unnecessary expenses. At least halt a bit. on expenses that will draw money from you if you have not stabilized on work. Work is actually the main thing, because if you don't have income coming in and you keep spending, why are you incurring more expenses? Tell me. Why? Why? You need to be able to cut it down. So, and that's the reality here in Canada. It doesn't mean that when you come, you find job immediately. You might not. So you must live a life that is real, not pleasing anybody. Real, not there to please anybody. Because you are not here to please anybody anyway. Did they pay for your immigration? Did they put money for you for proof of funds? What stake do they have with you? If something happens to you, what can they do to you? So you are responsible for yourself and yourself alone. So you must be wise. There are selfish interests that go with all these things that come, people bring to you. So you must be wise. They are good. Don't get me wrong. They are good. But the bottom line is this the right time? Is this the right time? Please answer this question before you jump into things that would siphon funds from you as an immigrant. Because there's no brother to loan you money. There's no sister to loan you money. You are on your own. OYO. So please, let's be wise as immigrants. Let's be wise. Things are skyrocketing. Things are beginning to get so expensive. And you are going to be living off what you have. So please, let's be wise. The economy is becoming tougher. It's becoming tighter. And wisdom is profitable at this time. Wisdom is needed at this time. It's very crucial. So especially when you don't have anybody here, or even if you do, you want to ensure that you're gaining skill, you're gaining knowledge, you're networking to be able to know how to position yourself and begin to draw from those knowledge what is best for you per time. So as you begin to have information about things that will benefit you, benefit your household, benefit your family, your children, depend on the stage in their life that they are, whether they are still in the elementary school, they're in the high school, or they're in the college. Please have a bank where you keep those ideas or those nuggets that will help you in that journey. Don't just hear and jump in. Here and jump in, and then you begin to ruin yourself. It also goes to credit cards. People take cards like, I don't know how people think, whether they feel it's free money. Whoever is giving you credit card, bank for instance, they know what they are doing, because this is also going to enrich them, right? They are taking money off you, impoverishing you, because you are spending, you are feeling cool because you are spending the money, you are meeting one need or the other. But do you know that you are incurring more expense because you are going to be paying interest on those cards? There's no free money. Excuse me. There's no free money. In Canada, there's no free money. So please, let's be wise. Let's be wise in the way we spend, in the way we, get into things that would actually ruin us. Because that's why people come to Canada and, they begin to say some things are not working, or some things, are working against them. It's because they've not actually been wise in the decisions that they make. And this, has a ripple effect on so many things along the line. So let's be wise. We need credit cards to build credit history. So you can take one. Take one. Don't take multiple. The more you have, the more exposed you are to spend it. Sometimes some companies to give you credit cards, they can tell you, because they're giving you get 20% discount or 25% discount if you get a card. They are luring you, right? Luring you, and you're like, oh, you want that discount, but they've already set a bait for you, a trap. You have entered inside unknowingly. Then you keep the card, and you begin to spend it. So what I typically do is, like if I'm doing furniture, I have the card, you know, for that. It's also a credit card, but those are things that you typically don't really go to. You are digging your own grave when you go to maybe the stores that have fashion. You typically don't change furniture every year or so that's okay for you. You can actually spread even payments on that. That's fine. But when you go to where you have to keep buying clothes, I've kind of also tilted my orientation on shopping here in Canada, because one, even with clothing, they don't have what we're looking for. For me personally, I really don't see what I want here, except you're buying online. And I've reverted back to where I'm coming from, because I find what I want, and that way you are spending your money. So if you go to stores that you have to shop clothes from and they give you cards, you will, of course, credit cards, then they tell you you earn points. They're all good though. They are all good. But in the long run, you need to weigh all these options. So it's a food for thought for you as new immigrants. Don't be carried away. Don't be lured by all these gimmicks that are around. Just ensure that you are asking genuine questions about your goals. The reason why you came to Canada is not to come and be in debt. Because already mortgage, that one is already a lifetime debt. Or a 25 to 30 year debt that we've been lured into, as far as I'm concerned. Because in my own country where we come from, we build our house with the money that we have, not like forcefully going into mortgage debt. But that's what Canada is here for. So please, food for thought. Okay guys, so let's keep this conversation going. What's your own thoughts about this new immigrant settlement? What's your thoughts about going into debt? What's your thoughts about spending what you don't have? What's your general thoughts? And how can immigrants find a good settlement opportunity whereby they can live debt-free here in Canada? Leave your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll catch you again in another vlog. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next vlog. Bye guys.